Hello, and welcome to the In for a Penny podcast. I'm Marc Shoffman, a freelance personal finance journalist, and I'm joined by my financial planner friend Joshua Gerstler, who runs an advisory business called The Orchard Practice.
Hello.
If you'd like to know a little bit more about us, you can check me out at www.cavendishcontent.com and Josh at www.topfs.co.uk.
Each episode, we aim to give our perspective on the world of finance and money and discuss some of the issues that crop up in business as well as everyday life. We hope that you'll learn something from our podcast as well as have some fun too.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Marc.
Welcome. Hello, Josh. Thanks everyone for downloading the latest episode of the In for a Penny podcast. We may sound a little bit different, and that's because we are following the government social distancing guidance, and I'm not in the same room, which actually is probably my dream, if I'm honest. I finally get to
Charming.
not just you personally, but I don't have to sit. I'm not really a people person. That's not true. I love
No,
people.
it is true. You are not a people person.
But we are following the very important guidance in terms of combating the coronavirus pandemic. So we're trying to record this podcast on Zoom. So the audio may sound a bit different than usual. And it does feel
So
quite
where are
weird.
you at the moment?
I'm sitting clothed in my study where we usually record our podcast. Where are you?
Lovely.
Where are you?
I'm sitting. I didn't realise we need to specify that we're clothed, but I am also clothed, sitting in my playroom, TV room.
And it's quite weird actually, because I'm used to looking at your face and being able to judge from your expression whether what I'm saying is appropriate, funny, rude. And now I have no filter. Oh, there you are.
No,
Now
you
you put your
I'll put
webcam
the
on.
video on for you. Where's yours?
I don't want you to see my face. I've been homeschooling for a week now. I'm very
Fair enough.
stressed.
Are you a week into? So tell me about homeschooling.
It's challenging because obviously I think when we pulled our children out of school on Tuesday when the government first said people with certain conditions are at more risk, which includes my wife who has MS. So we thought there's no point in being at school where they could potentially pick it up and then pass it on to her.
Yeah, sensible.
So from last Tuesday, which would have been around the 16th or 17th of March, depending on when you're listening to this, we took them out and we decided we're going to homeschool. So we were very excited about it on Tuesday morning. We set up a timetable. We had school rules, and they enjoyed it.
School rules.
There were school rules. The Shoffman school has very important rules, but rule number one is have fun.
Okay.
And there were times when they were enjoying it. There were times when they said they were bored and implied they'd rather be at school, which I found a bit offensive.
I think they'd rather be with their mates and their mum and dad.
Yeah. And I think the trouble is it's very hard to replicate the school experience at home because we're not qualified teachers. We also have our own jobs we need to do now from home as well.
Well, I think the guidance that the schools are giving is don't try and replicate the school environment. I'm talking about for our kids who are at a young age, sort of 7 and under.
Yes.
Because you can't really. You've just got to make sure they are happy, they're safe. They don't. I mean, what they're going to miss from a few weeks of school? It's not like they're doing their GCSEs and A levels. Those are the kids I feel a bit more sorry for.
True. Although they're just going to be given their grades without having to do exams. Some of them are getting.
I know that's a bit of a result, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you get given good grades.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I think teachers can mark more harshly.
They can marsh. I mean, they can just marsh as much as they want.
They can mark more harshly in the mocks. Sorry about that cough. I don't have the virus.
No problem.
My worry is if it does go.
It's a joke, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. My worry is if it does go on for months, that I don't know. Well, I guess everyone's in the same boat, but I worry about our youngest kind of reading, learning to write. I feel like we're at the key stage to sort that out. But people tell me kids are resilient or Brazilian. I don't know if I'm mishearing them. Not sure.
I think they'll be all right. Don't stress about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about sticking to a timetable. Just make sure they are not driving you mad and doing a little bit of stuff. But I wouldn't drive yourself mad.
I know, but how do you keep them entertained between?
Well, do you know what my secret is?
What's your secret?
Because our homeschooling only starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
We waited till they shut the school this week. My secret is I'm going to work tomorrow.
So
So I
you're,
will be in the office,
yeah.
and my wife will be homeschooling our 4 children.
Wow. Do you not feel
I mean, she's not
bad?
going to be homeschooling. The
Yeah.
little two, as you know, are at nursery anyway, so
Yeah.
they just get to play. And the bigger two, the school have sent home these enormous packs of work,
Yeah.
which my eldest is wanting to start on the weekend. He loves all that stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
we told him to wait. No, you got to wait until Monday
Yeah.
before you start. He'll finish it on the first day. Be calling the school for his other stuff. Um, but I said to Mrs. G, "Do you want me to work at home?" I think she wants me out of the way. She doesn't want to have to look after 5 kids.
Very good.
Yeah. To make matters worse, our au pair yesterday decided to go back to Spain to be with her family.
Oh, wow.
So that's great timing.
Yeah.
And so, just so you don't think I am a complete, um, whatever the word is, I don't want to be rude. I have offered to help and stay at home, and we'll see how many days my wife takes until she accepts that offer.
Wow. So yeah, it's been an interesting week or so. And if you think only 2 weeks ago, or less than that, there was the Chancellor's budget, and he unveiled a £30 billion package to help small businesses. And
It was a big
now
package.
a big package. And now just days later, there's been a £300 billion package. That's packages worth £300 billion. It's all
I
gone a bit
think
crazy.
it's, yeah, I think there are good moves by what's it, Rishi,
Rishi. Yeah.
as we affectionately call him. A lot of businesses are going to suffer.
Yeah.
People are going to lose their jobs. Businesses are going to go bust. It's going to be wide-ranging implications for the whole economy.
Mm.
So I think they're doing sensible things what they can. So they're giving companies money to pay employees salary, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
They are offering loans and grants to businesses to help keep them going. I think that's sensible stuff.
So obviously it's been another volatile week or so for stock markets,
Yeah,
and so you had to ring me as you're my financial advisor to talk about
yeah,
my portfolio being down,
yeah.
because is there this rule that if your funds are down by more than 10%, if the value's down, you need to have a chat. Is that a thing?
No, it's not actually.
Hey.
But you're sort of right. There are rules that if a certain type of portfolio, I think it's discretionary managed ones,
I see.
are dropped by more than 10%, then they have to send you a notification of
Yeah.
that. But that wasn't the reason why I called.
Are you just think because you were being nice?
Yeah, I've been trying to call as many of my clients as I can. So if you're listening to this and haven't had a call yet, you will get one, just to make sure people are okay and to reassure people, because for a lot of people it's going to be a very stressful time. So there is no requirement, regulatory or otherwise, for me to call people, but it's the right thing to do.
How have clients responded when you've called them?
Fine. Interestingly, and I've noticed, so in 2008, when the credit crunch was around, I was an accountant at that point, so I wasn't doing this. So this is my first big, what do you want to call it, temporary decline, coming up to recession, whatever we want to term it. All the older clients, so the elder clients, have been absolutely fine with it. They understand it. They've been through it all before. It's the younger ones that need a bit more reassurance and aren't so sure where everything's heading. I found that quite interesting.
So what do
It
you
makes
say
sense, but I didn't. To who?
to the younger ones?
Most people understand things. So if we talk about our conversation, we've spoken about that we had a lot, that you've got a long-term financial plan.
Yeah.
That we may have had 30 days of bad news, but we've got a 30+ year plan for you. So you don't need to stress about it. And I think you said to me that things will come back round, investments go down, they go up. So most people get it. Most people get it.
I guess it's just a timing thing, though, isn't it? Because if I was about to retire, or I did want to access that money for, I don't know, a holiday or a family event, like a wedding, not that my 7 or 5-year-old can get married yet, I'd be worried.
Well, hopefully, if you've got a proper plan, then you're prepared for things like that. So you would have put the money aside. You wouldn't have left it till the day before the wedding to access it. So normally when you're planning, you have all these events built into the plan to make sure there is money available for them.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one is if you were just about to retire and you hadn't yet changed anything. But at the same time, let's say you're 60, well, you might have a 30 or 40-year retirement. So you can't focus on the last few weeks. It could be, I don't think it will be, but just to show you the unpredictability of the markets, it could be that in 2 weeks the markets are up 10% from where they were a couple of months ago. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. So we're focusing on a very short time frame. We're focusing on a few weeks or a couple of months for what most people might be a 50, 60-year plan.
Now, I don't know if I've told you this before. I think I have, but I also have another passive portfolio with a online robo-wealth. So I've been cheating on you with another fund manager with a robot.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's a passive fund. It's a portfolio of exchange traded funds which just track the market, and that's down about 20-25%, which I think is obviously quite a drastic drop. Whereas your funds, the funds the Orchard Practice and Open Work manage for me, I think most are active.
Well, let's just be clear. We don't manage those funds.
You're right. Fund managers that you've chosen are active fund managers. They are active fund managers. Do you think now is the time when active funds are going to show their strength and their skills?
I don't know is the answer. So there's always a big debate about active versus passive funds. The main argument for active funds that they say is that passive funds can never outperform the market, whereas active funds can. So have you compared the two?
Not yet, but maybe I should, because perhaps even if
that would have been a more interesting point, Mark. If you had the two numbers,
you're right. I should have prepared. Maybe I'll do that.
Or ask me.
Yeah,
could have had the information for you
next time, or maybe offline. But it would be because I guess stuff's going to be down, but maybe the active stuff won't be down as much as the.
I mean, it could be down, but it could be down by more. Who knows?
Who knows?
But what I always say to people and to you and to everyone is, whatever type of fund you're in, and however it's doing in the short term is irrelevant. It's how it fits into that long-term plan. So the fact that is down 25% for you, whilst that's a bit of a disappointing thing to see, when you invest there's going to be volatility.
Yeah.
You don't normally log in on such a regular basis and see how it's doing. It's only because there's been so much in the press about it that you potentially are checking.
So do you think that's something that, because obviously there's been this panic buying in the supermarkets, and now shops are trying to limit the amount you can purchase. Do you think platforms should be limiting the amount of times, or advisors should be limiting how many times people check their portfolios to stop panicking, like panic selling?
No, I don't think so. Well, two parts to that. So most people that I spoke to over the last few weeks have said we haven't even logged in. We're not even checking, which is fantastic, because we've had that relationship with clients where they understand that this is a long-term investment. This is a long-term financial plan. They're not bothered. They know things are going to be down, but they don't care, because when we discuss things, we always look at the bigger picture. So that's great. Should people but we shouldn't have to limit people logging in. If they want to log in, they can. But the bit about stopping people panic selling, that's 100% right. You don't want anyone selling out now. Trying to time the market is impossible. So you could sell everything today, the market doubles tomorrow, and then you buy back in. Well, that's the complete opposite of what you should be doing.
How frustrating is it that this coronavirus and the volatility in the markets has come at the same time as ISA season?
From my point of view,
well, yeah, or for an investor, I mean,
I think it's perfect. It's a perfect time. Warren Buffett famously said, "Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy." Well, right now everyone's fearful. The markets are down 25% to what they were a month or two ago. It's a good time to get in.
But how easy
is on sale?
How easy is it to convince a client to do that if they're worried about their income over the next few months and jobs and businesses and all that sort of stuff?
it's not necessarily my job to convince people to do something that they might not want to do. It's my job to tell them what they should be doing and what they need to be doing, not what they want to hear. And if people don't have the money, if people are worried about their income, then they shouldn't invest, because normally the guidance is you shouldn't be investing for less than 5 years. So if someone thinks they're going to need the money in 3 months to pay the bills, then definitely don't invest. But if you're putting money away for long term, then yes, probably a good time to do it. Doesn't mean it might not drop again, but hopefully long term it's all going to come back around.
Okay. And so you mentioned some of the business support that the government have announced. Also, there have been measures for mortgage borrowers in the form of payment holidays, and there was a base rate cut as well from Bank of England, which many thought would help boost the market and make consumers more positive. How have you found that among kind of mortgage lenders? Has that translated into rate cuts?
So there's been two rate cuts probably since we last recorded. There was the first one which went from 0.75% to 0.25%, and then the second one that went from 0.25% to 0.1%.
Crazy.
Yeah, so after the first rate cut, I didn't really notice anything from lenders. They didn't really send us any new rates saying they put them down, and obviously they have to notify us when they change rates. We had put a few clients onto tracker rates just before that, so they're all very pleased with
I'm sure. Well done. Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not going to go back up and they're going to have to pay more in the long run, but in the short term they're happy. But on Friday we did start to see emails coming in from lenders saying they've reduced their rates, so it's starting to filter through.
And some were a bit naughty, weren't they? Like Nationwide removed its tracker range.
Yeah, I wouldn't say naughty, but if you think they have to make a certain amount of money to make lending profitable, so if the rate is so low that they can't make it profitable, then they shouldn't be doing it. We don't want them getting bust as well.
True, but if
remember, they didn't remove it for people that are existing borrowers. It's for people that hadn't yet applied.
Yeah.
So if you had an application in progress, I think you're still okay.
Okay, that's good.
So how are you finding working from home, doing your normal job, and trying to look after your family?
Very challenging.
Have you changed anything?
Have I changed anything? Well, I just don't do any work anymore.
But so from a personal point of view, as a freelance journalist.
As a freelance journalist, a key aspect of going freelance was the flexibility for me and the freedom to be able to work from home whenever and wherever. And now I can't even leave the house, and there's all these people here where I used to work, which I
think you can leave the house. The whole point, I think, of social distancing is not to be near other people. So there's nothing to stop you leaving the house and going to sit on a park bench and doing your work.
Yeah, it's just very hard to get Wi-Fi on a park bench.
Yeah.
But now my wife is working here. I'm trying to work here, and we're trying to school the kids. So there's a lot of demands on our Wi-Fi and a lot of demands from children as well. So it makes it a lot more challenging.
Mrs. Gerstler's firm have been very good. So she emailed them when they announced the schools were closing. Yeah. And said, how are you going to support people that need to stay at home? And they said, do what you can. We appreciate it's going to be difficult. Do what you can, and we'll keep an eye on things.
Yeah, I think that's essentially what we've been told. So it's just going to be an interesting few months ahead. It's just, for me, I have to kind of shift my mentality from where I used to be able to just sit in silence and be able to work to being used to people being around again. It's like working in an office, but you sort of fancy someone in the next room and you're related to two of the others. We're related to all three of them. Weird.
Sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
Would it be interesting for me to tell you how we are changing things, how we work?
How you work? Yeah, please do.
Because we have 2 people in the office at the moment.
Yeah.
And 4 working from home.
Okay.
So the 2 of us in the office are both local. so we can walk into the office and not really come across too many people along the way. But
Yeah.
the others are a bit further away, and we don't want them having to go on public transport for their own safety.
Sensible.
So we set up over the last week or so a few systems. So Zoom, which we're speaking on now.
Yeah.
That is for, and I bought myself a webcam.
Oh, lovely.
So I can sit at my desk.
Yeah.
And have meetings with clients as close to face as possible, because we're a face-to-face business. We don't like to, if we can help it, do things over telephone. So clients are used to seeing us. So this is a way we're trying to get around that, and to make the best of things. We've also brought in something called Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of Microsoft Teams until you told me about it last week. So that's a new Skype.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's Microsoft's latest version. So we're using Teams internally for chat and things like that, and we're using Zoom externally with clients. The other thing we've done is I'm just about to hopefully sign a contract for VoIP telephone systems, which will mean that we're much more flexible. So if people are working from home, the phone can ring on their mobiles, but it'll be the work number. If they make calls out, it'll appear as the work number, so they don't have to give their personal numbers out to people. And all these things have been on my to-do list, my work to-do list, for a few months to do in 2020, but suddenly all of it's happened in the space of a week. Yeah. What's going on?
What about, so the person you're in the office with, are you sitting the required 2 meters away?
She sits on my lap, so is that 2 meters? I'm not sure. Yes, we are. We're probably a couple of meters away.
And when you greet her, are you shaking hands, or are you doing the all hands shake?
No, do nothing.
Elbowing.
Just saying hello.
Just hello.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day. Good. What do you think about after all this? Because we will get through this, as Boris keeps telling us. What do you think the approach from companies, or even just the Orchard practice, will be to working from home? Because it's working for a lot of businesses who previously may have been against it.
Yes, I think it's massively going to change the way I was going to say the country, but actually the way the world works. So I think there'll be many more people working from home. Certain companies will think, hang on a minute, we can save on office space and rent. Yeah. Instead, we can give people a laptop and a mobile. But for me, I would still like people to be in the office. I think part of what helps us and our success is the culture we have, the camaraderie. That sounded very American. The being as a team, having clients come in. I think for me, once it's back to normal, we'll all still be back in the office. But with a caveat that if people did need to work from home, we'd have the facility to do it.
Yeah, that's very good. A lot of people may have forgotten that even before these measures came in, that Chancellor Rishi Sunak made this big budget where there were a few other interesting announcements affecting the personal finance and ISA investing space. And one of the big ones was the junior ISA allowance. So JISA, baby. So everyone gets their own annual ISA allowance, which is currently 20,000. Sorry, everyone gets their own ISA allowance, which is currently
Marc Shoffman, personal finance journalist, ladies and gentlemen.
So tired. Everyone gets their own ISA allowance, which is currently £20,000 a year, and on top of that, there's the junior ISA, which you can put away for your kids, save and invest tax free, and that at the moment is how much, Josh?
Don't ask me that one, because it's not a round number. 4,264 or something. What is the number?
I think you'll find actually it's
as you sit at your computer,
4,368.
All right, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, well, that's increasing from the 2020-21 tax year to a round number of
£9,000.
Yeah,
Dale.
So not only is that easier to remember, do you think it will actually be good for people investing for their kids?
It will be. It will be a good thing. Timing is unfortunate, because I think people who are making monthly contributions into their kids' ISAs will probably carry on doing that. But people who were thinking about setting it up or increasing it, probably not going to look at it now. I don't think you've got to prioritize yourself before putting money away for your children. So if you are financially secure, then great, then people will do it. If you're not 100% sure about yourself, then you probably won't want to start locking away money in your kids' names. So short term, I don't know how much take up we'll see of the increased allowance, but long term, it's great. $9,000 a year for your children. If you start that when someone's born, have you got a calculator to hand?
Yes. Yeah.
So 9,000 times 18 years gives you what number, Mark?
Oh, hold on. £162,000.
So if you put away $9,000 a year for 18 years before any growth, you just put that away, you've got £162,000. Well, what a great start for your kids that is for when they hit 18 years old.
Hopefully we'll have beaten the coronavirus by then, or we'll have a vaccine. Who knows?
18 years from now, let's hope so.
Let's hope so. What are you doing about haircuts?
I'm not cutting anyone's hair at the moment. I've decided because of coronavirus, I will not cut people's hair.
I mean, for yourself.
Well, luckily, I had one a bit before this all sort of ramped up.
Yeah.
But I hadn't even thought about it. Would I go to the? I don't think I would go to the hairdresser or barber at the moment. I'll just have to let it get a bit messy and long. What about you?
I think similar. I think my wife has offered.
I know you take a lot of pride in your appearance.
Thank you very much. My wife's offered to shave my neck.
Shave your neck?
Neck. You know, you get the hair at the back of your neck under your the back of your head.
That's just a weird offer. Why she offers to shave your neck?
Well, because it's just getting quite fluffy.
Okay.
Your wife hasn't offered that, no?
No, she hasn't.
Okay, well, maybe.
She's offered to pat my bag.
Yeah.
That was about it. What else has your wife offered?
Just love and affection, and general support.
Well, fantastic. That's perfect. Jokes aside, at times like this, that is the most important thing. We're all sort of locked away with our family and our loved ones, and we should, apart from moaning, we should actually appreciate the time we spend together.
Yeah.
Some people aren't going to have this time anymore.
Exactly. Well, I think that's a nice message to end it on. This podcast.
I think we should end it on the hairy neck.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to hear more about my hairy neck, tune into the next episode where I'll update you on its growth. Unless it's
fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. But for now, thanks for listening. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and look after each other.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Be safe.
Please remember, anything discussed in this program should not be viewed as financial advice. But if you do need support, please contact me at Marc, MARC, at cavendishcontent.com, or visit the Orchard Practice website at www.topfs.co.uk.
You can also find us on Twitter at InForAPennyPod1, at Marc Shoffman, and at Josh Gerstler. If you'd like to leave us feedback, there's a link in the show notes telling you how to do that. We really appreciate any comments you provide.
And do post any financial issues you'd like us to cover.
Thank you for being
In for a Penny.